In this video, we'll be looking at how ATP is formed in an electric transporter chain. To look at this, we must look at a cell is composed of many different parts, including the cytoplasm, nucleus, ribose, endoplasm, and the mitochondrium, the powerhouse of the cell. This is the most important part for ATP production. This image that we can see now, it is the mitochondria. This image, it has been taken by electron microscope. When we take a more further look into this, we can see the different layers in forming electron transporter chain. We have the intermolecular space. The intermolecular space is located between the outer molecule and the matrix. The outer molecular area is an outer shell between the, the cytoplasm and the matrix with a barrier in between of the intermolecular space. Inside the matrix, we have the exhibit of the electric transporter chain as well as the Krebs cycle. Electron transporter chain, it is divided between complex I/1, complex 2, other words II, complex 3, II, or complex 4, that's also named complex IV. These different complexes have different electric negativity, as it is used to transform the electron that has been deposited by a molecule of different sources. These sources are carbs, fats, and proteins. Once these sources are broken down, they would eventually, once entering the electron transporter chain, be NADH plus and can also be FADH2. Both carry electrons, and the main difference between both of them is that NADH goes to complex 1, meaning there's more electron transfer between complex 1 to the ATP synthesizer final phase versus FADH2 that will go directly into complex 2, meaning there is one less step in the electron that is actually transferring between all these steps. With this, the AFADH2 would actually produce less ATP all around. Going with this, we will be looking at how ANDH plus would actually go into complex 1. In this animation, we are looking at complex 1 and how NADH delivers 2 electrons onto this transporter chain. This has a redox center. While these electrons are traveling between low infinity to high infinity, that means there must be energy expended to continue this process. Therefore, new energy supplies are done here in the middle in part, between the middle, because or else the electron would actually be able to jump an extra step in between here. And how is this stopped? Our body actually make adjacent angle in between here, so this right angle of this exact degree would actually not allow them to skip over two and not go through the regular process. If this occurs, it will not work how it's meant to be done. Continuing with this idea, on complex 2, the FADH would go in and drop, deposit its electrons. This process has a lot less steps on going down to being transferred all the way to the ATP synthase state. The whole point of transferring electrons in this metal is to have electrons in the matrix to be more and less in the outside. The outside would be the internal molecular space, that there would be less electrons and have more of H positive. In this, the ATP receptor would see a difference and will of densities in between these areas. When this occurs, this difference would how things want to go where there's less density, as if we are in a subway, a crowded subway, we want to leave the subway more if it was empty. This whole process works with this nanorobotic machine that does this with energy. Once it enters this nanorobotic machine, it will spin at a rate incredibly fast that is really unimaginable how fast it spins. This spinning motion will create energy, but scientists do not know how this actually happens. Research is still being done on how energy is converted in this fashion. If there's no difference between the protons and electrons in this, the nanorobotic machine would actually discompose and not work and actually die off.